Well, the great thing about being in the Big 12 is we charter, so that makes it easier. But travel does wear on everybody. Anyone that's ever gone on a trip knows what it's like when you travel. It taxes your body. So the good thing is, 18 to 22-year-olds, they recover a little quicker than us older adults. So most important thing is being ready for West Virginia, who's played extremely well at home. They beat Texas, they beat Kansas, beat Cincinnati. Two of the teams that we've lost to, they've beaten at home, and they're getting everybody back now. Josh has had a tremendous challenge from the standpoint. The toughest thing in coaching is when you have people coming and going, and they've had so many people added at different times of the year. It's hard to really get consistency, but for the last 5 games, now they have their team. So I would expect them to continue to improve as the year finishes out because they have talented pieces for sure.
And they kind of just had to elevate a guy from assistant role. Does it look like a Hugs team, or is it a little bit different based on
Yeah.
kind of what the head coach there?
Well, I think no matter who's coaching, it's really hard when you have people coming and going, and they're statistically, I mean, their best players have been added. So from the standpoint, Kerr missed a bunch of games, Jesse missed a bunch of games, and it just takes time. Battle missed a bunch of games. I mean, so that chemistry, it's hard enough if you have June, July, August, September to start to know one another. But it's even harder when the first time everyone's together is during conference play.
Does it make it harder to scout them?
Yeah, it does. I mean, to be honest, you really have to look more at the last 5 games stats than you do anything else because everything else is flawed or different.
Scott recently got an email that had surveyed college basketball fans about coaches, like who's the best dresser, who's this, who's that.
Yeah, I'm not winning the dress for sure.
You did not win the best dresser,
Yeah.
but these fans named you the best developer of talent, and just how proud of like what y'all have been able to do in developing guys are you?
Well, first of all, head coach is only as good as his staff, and the staff deserves most of the credit for that. And then the players deserve the most credit after that from the standpoint you can't develop someone unless they are coachable, put in the time to get better. So really, those are the two areas that deserve the credit. But it's a great compliment for our staff and players that they get better here and that they improve, and people recognize that.
Is it harder now when a lot of times you only have them a year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like parenting. If you only had people for 9 months, you probably don't have a chance to make as good an impression as over 4 or 5 or 6 years. And so it changes how you develop from the standpoint. It's like foreign language. Spanish 1, Spanish 2, Spanish 3, 4. That's over 4 years. Now you're doing Spanish 1 through 4 in 9 months. So what's the best way to get that done? And I think all the coaches across the nation are trying to figure that out.
Coach, I'm sure each road environment is a little bit unique. What makes the Coliseum in Morgantown unique amongst other places?
Well, first, they always have talented players, and anybody in the Big 12 is going to be well coached. And Josh been a career learning under Coach Huggins, who's a Hall of Fame coach, and there's a reason why. So they do a lot of good things, and I mean, Carissa led the Pac-12 in assists for 2 years. Jesse Edwards was first in blocks and second in rebounding in the ACC last year. So that's just the beginning. I mean, Battle averaged 18 a game last year where he was at. So they got talented players and then passionate fan bases. So and that has an impact on the 13 people on the floor for sure.
How has Jalen Bridges developed since you've had
Yeah.
him? Will this game obviously be special for you?
Yeah. Last year it was, I mean, going back, you feel more heat from the fans. At the same time, you want to play well. But last year he did a great job handling it, and I think the team really rallied around him as well. But Jalen, like any player, the older they get, hopefully they get more consistent and better at their craft. Anybody that takes a job in year 2, they're good, but year 4, hopefully they're a lot better. And he's the same way. He's spent time working on his game. He's more consistent, creating for others. He's always been a low turnover guy, but now he's more in the assist realm with that. His rebounding has been good, and he just continues to get more consistent with that. And then his outside shooting, like anybody in shooting, you go through some streaks, but this year he's been pretty consistent for us, and his shot selection's been really good, and his one-on-one defense has improved. He's physically stronger, conditioning's better, all the above.
Scott, like Bryce said, there was an extra day. Was there any thought about coming back here, or does it just
Yeah.
make sense to stay on the road?
Yeah, that's, if it had been an earlier game, maybe we'd have done that. Being a later game, instead of getting back at 2 or 3 in the morning, and seems like our flights seem to be delayed, or so it's better to get a good night's sleep and just go.
What do you see from BYU? I guess we're asking about that game as well.
So BYU analytically has been a juggernaut all year, top of the country in a lot of categories, and especially on the offensive end, they really run hard-to-guard stuff from the standpoint. A lot of times you play against a team and they have 3 or 4 guys that are really skilled. At BYU, no matter who's on the court, they're very skilled and make it spread you out and make it hard to guard.
What do you expect from that environment there?
We've been up there, and remember it was Pierre Jackson's year. We won at the last minute of the game. It was a great environment. They do a great job with game management, production. I mean, their students are really involved, and it's a fun place to play. But at the end of the day, what defines a good road trip is if you walk out with a win, and that's the goal, obviously. And they're gonna impact the 13 on the floor, but we have the most impact.
Scott, have you ever, because I was thinking about Marquette, Gonzaga, but have you ever had a trip like this where you've had a twofer that far apart?
I don't think this far apart. Yeah. And the good thing is it's preparing us for next year.
Right.
Coach, in terms of your bigs, how much more prepared, especially Eve, I mean, for that trio of BYU bigs this time around as opposed to a month ago when it was early on in Big 12 play?
Well, BYU's bigs offer really 3 different type of scouting reports. One's really athletic, a great rim runner, finisher. Another one's a really skilled one-on-one post player, and another one's really a skilled perimeter big. So depending on which one they have in, what offensive sets they run most, at the end of the day, all of them are very productive, and that's why their analytical numbers are off the charts, and that's why they're having such a great season win-loss-wise. At the same time, that's what's great about the Big 12. I mean, you get ready for West Virginia, and now they got a chance to go against the best big in the ACC from a year ago, and that's a challenge. And then you turn around, and then you have another challenge. And every night, no matter who you play, it's a challenge. So the great thing is Eve and Josh have continued to improve. John's done a great job in practice helping them get ready for the physicality and what they're going to face. But at the end of the day, it's a war in the trenches, and they're doing a good job progressing as the years gone on.
In terms of the altitude, a couple of teams have really had a hard time going there for the first time. They really handled Iowa State there. Is that something you guys have to prepare for, getting in that extra day?
You know, I think Colorado's a little more challenging from the standpoint you're writing on the board right above the board is 7,600 feet. Do not exercise without doctor's permission or possible heart attack or something. I mean, that probably is a little more effective than what, because BYU is only around 4,000. But Corey, our nutritionist, does a great job in preparing the guys, and I mean, they'll be ready to go. I mean, coaching wise, you might sub a little more early on to help them catch that second win.
And in terms of practices, this is the first one that I think you've seen twice this year, BYU. So how does that change? I know it's not like last year where you round robin everybody. How does that change practices kind of in the latter half of the season?
Well, but definitely as the season wears on, you try to cut down what you do. One, for injury purposes, two, for make sure you're fresh and ready to go for the game. But three, when you're playing a team for a second time, you don't have to spend as much time on them, and that's a good thing.
Good. All right. Thanks, Scott.
Great questions.
I expect it to be a great environment. I believe they have a double header on a Saturday, so there's going to be a lot of fans. It's going to be loud and exciting, as it should be, though.
Do you expect it to be less emotional than the first time around? Similar, different?
I feel like it'll be the exact same, if not just one step down, because they've had a little bit of time to kind of process their feelings and stuff like that. But I feel like it'll be the same. They always show up and show out. It's a great atmosphere.
I'm assuming it'll be pretty hard to live up to the first time back there when you had a pretty good game in your return or like that.
Nah, yeah, I just try to do things to help the team win, man. So whatever I got to do to help us accomplish that, I'm cool with whatever stat line that may be.
Jason, having been there, I'm guessing it didn't surprise you when you were greeted like you were last year.
Nah, it definitely didn't. I've seen them give people a lot worse treatment than I got, honestly, so I felt like they went a little bit light on me.
What do you see from them this year?
Basketball-wise, they have a lot more shooters than past teams. They have a great big and Edwards, so they have a lot of different guys that can do different things. They have a really talented group. They haven't really had much time to play together though and figure it out, so it's going to be exciting.
Will you have a lot of family there?
Yeah, I think I have 22 people on my list or something like that, and then there's going to be obviously other people that I wasn't able to get a ticket for.
For both you guys, so they recently did a survey of college basketball fans and asked them about coaches around the country and who's the best dresser, who's this, who's that. They named Scott and his staff best developer of talent. Was that something that drew you two guys to Baylor? I mean, is that you knew that was a thing here?
Yeah, I think all the staff has just a track record now of developing so many good guards and bigs and wings, and I think now when you're making your decision to come to Baylor, you factor that in, because the more time you spend here, I think the better basketball player you'll be.
Jalen, have you seen your game, kind of develop since you've been here?
Nah, definitely. The way they teach the game, it translates very well to the next level, and that's ultimately what they're trying to prepare us for. They're just trying to make us better men as basketball players and just as men in general. So it's a blessing to be a part of this culture and program.
Caleb, you'll be going back to, your old team too. I mean, what do you expect from that?
Honestly, I do not know. BYU has incredible fans and incredible fan base, but I'm not quite sure how that'll be approached yet, whether it'll be signs or boos or what. But I'm hoping I left a good enough mark that I'm not getting things thrown at. I'm not getting, but yeah, it'll be a fun game. The Marriott Center is super fun to play in. Again, great fan base, and so I think both of these games will be really fun from a player's perspective, playing on the road, good, solid road games.
Did you have any advice for your team once he gets around to playing in Provo and the Marriott Center and kind of what to expect?
People, especially BYU, when you're at home in front of 18,000 fans, you naturally just have more confidence, and so it'll be a tough game. They're a tough team, great shooting team, and so it'll challenge us defensively. But we're ready for that. Hoping to get 2 wins on the road.
Altitude's a little different than Waco.
Yeah, it is. That first practice is going to be heavy.
How do you approach that?
Just staying hydrated. We're drinking like beet juice. I don't know if that does anything, but I guess mentally we're prepared that we won't be able to breathe as well. First practice will probably be tough,
You
but
said beet juice?
yeah, like beet juice, like red beet juice.
Yeah.
I can promise you Bryce has never had beat.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Dwight Schrute. Yeah, Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Yeesh. Anything else?
I guess just in terms of this trip, what I know y'all had the kind of the Marquette Gonzaga last year, but what's that like? You know, being on the road for that long, and you know, getting 2 games in a stretch like that.
I like being on the road. I just like being around these guys. So
Yeah. It's just like, it's honestly just more time for us to bond and get closer because we're all stuck in the same hotel. You know, we're practicing, we're flying from place to place. So it's definitely a good thing. And it's a chance to go get 2 big road conference wins.
What do you guys do on the plane for that long from Morgantown to Provo?
It's a 4-hour flight, by the way.
maybe I'll bring a deck of cards or something. I don't know.
I ain't gonna lie, I'll probably just sleep for real.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all.